In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my fluid film setup. This is a 55-gallon drum of fluid film. This will also work for wool wax or any bulk spray that you're going to be doing for undercoating. This is what I was using it out of, a 5-gallon bucket. I've probably gone through about 20 5-gallon buckets. Sick and tired of it. It's hard to clean out of the bottom of the bucket. I do have a pump for the bucket. I will share that in the end of the video with you with those numbers if you're interested in buying that for a smaller scale setup. But I highly recommend getting this 5-gallon paint sprayer bucket and just dropping that bad boy right in the drum or the bucket, whatever you're using. This particular drum I got from O'Reilly's for approximately 1,800 bucks with me picking it up from their location. So not a great price, not a terrible price. I think most of the savings is going to be typically in not having to mess around with the little drums, little buckets, I should say, and having the rest of the residue left over because there's approximately about a gallon left in the end of a bucket that you can't really get out unless you're scraping it out with your a putty knife or whatever. So this is going to be a major cost savings in terms of just being able to spray consistently without having to mess around. I like protecting my personal vehicles, and I help out a few family and friends, so it's not really killing it. I'm not making money off of this. It's not a business or anything, but I do spray vehicles, and I truly believe this makes my rusty vehicles last longer in terms of not having to deal with stuff and taking stuff apart easier. Um, so the paint sprayer is pretty simple here. It's a 0.33 gallon per minute pump at 3,000 psi, and it doesn't like to feed when it's cold, less than 20 degrees. So I put this band on here, which I got off eBay. I could share the link with you guys if you guys are interested. It's about 30 bucks for a drum heater, and you'll see here the fluid film's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and my garage is approximately 15. I've left this on for, probably 20 minutes at this point, and I had to shut it off because I popped my breaker with that on, my heater on, my air compressor on, and just running all my stuff. So I turned this off while I'm gonna spray, and it's feeding really nice now. It feeds real consistent. Priming gets a breeze, same as priming paint, but you could pretty much forget all the cleanup steps because you never have to worry about this drying up in there. Um, the other thing I would highly suggest is if you're gonna buy a paint sprayer, get one with the longer hose. You'll see the hose on here is approximately 50 foot, and that extension. If you're pulling this vehicle up on a rack like I do, that extension will really help get in the nooks and crannies and keep it a little bit further away from you. I have noticed it's a little less fumy than spraying it with air, and it's really easy. Like I said, drop that main hose down in there, flip it to prime, turn that knob down to prime, and there's a button on the bottom of this particular paint sprayer to prime it. Each paint sprayer is going to be slightly different, but it took me approximately a minute to get it to prime, and that was mainly because I had no idea what I was doing, and it was super cold. So I would estimate in warm fluid film, it'd probably take about 15 to 30 seconds. You'll kind of see it flow up through that tube, and it primed it up right away. So I'm sure you guys won't have a problem with that. It's the original paint sprayer tip. It's a 515 nozzle, and I've had no issues with clogs or jams or anything like that. This is probably the equivalent of a X5 or X7 Graco paint sprayer, which is a residential 5-gallon bucket paint sprayer. It's, I would highly recommend trying to find one of these used over spending, new money on this. So this brand, I believe, that I have here is discontinued. It's an Amazon return. I did end up getting this at auction. There's the spray prime feature there, and like I said, I got this at auction for 65 bucks. So can't really beat it. Like I said, you never really have to worry about cleaning it out. I never intend on spraying paint through this. It was just so worth it for me. It's definitely going to extend the life of my air compressor in the garage, which I'm not doing very much garage in the work, work in the garage anyway, but it just makes me feel so much better. So this is some footage of me spraying it on. And like I said, I pulled this out of a bucket with black fluid film, so it is a little loaded up with black, so it is going to be spraying black on this at first, and then you'll see the tan kind of come through here. But black makes it look really good. The only reason I try and stay away from black fluid film is that it looks terrible on the side of a white Suburban, and I really try and coat everything pretty thick. So yeah, like I said, this system runs great. Sorry, it's a little out of frame here. I get a little bit better at recording it later on, but sprays great. Less fumey than using it with the air. I still wear a mask. I still open the garage door up, and yeah, you could just see with the light on there how well that covers it with the black. But like I said, versus that air gun, this lays it on significantly thicker, and it just looks great. It's gonna last a lot longer. I'm not really worried about getting every little pinhole with fluid film because I already know this vehicle is not gonna last forever. But this is gonna make it look really, really good underneath, and taking stuff apart is gonna be a breeze. I mean, 6 months from now, a year from now, when I put this car back on the lift to do another oil change, you could take your finger across a frame rail and wipe it, and you could feel that. You could feel that fluid film, like waxy substance there, and it is not, something that dries out. So you don't have to worry about that at all. So yeah, like I said, this tip's a 515. I have not experimented with any other tips. I know if you flip this particular tip backwards, it'll blast out of there with like a pretty low pressure stream. But if you, for whatever reason, if you wanted to do that, you always have that option too.
See, now we're starting to get the tan in there. I prefer the tan over the black. Pretty much anybody that likes the black fluid film is not going to want the tan because it's aesthetically pleasing. I mean, you take all these colors, you make it all look black. It looks, nice and uniform. But not everybody has a vehicle like this where you can kind of spray everything and it doesn't really matter. Some trucks and some Suburbans, if they're white, it's really hard to get up under there and make it look good all the way down. Where the tan will blend in with the other colors significantly more. Plus, it's cheaper. So I always tell people I recommend the tan. So that's my typical 5-gallon buckets of fluid film. I'm tired of going through those. They're hard to get the last little bit out. I feel like I'm wasting it. Anyway, moving on. This is the drum pump 2575. It was $50, I think, with the lid. You gotta kind of hold this to keep it from going up and down. I'm sure there's a way to secure that, but
Thank you for watching this YouTube video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know.